She had been cheating with my husband for years, and even planned to kick me out of my own house. Her confidence level is off the chart, but just one sentence will send it straight to the bottom. My name is Amara, and until a week ago I believed my life was perfect. I didn't think it was the best life in the world, or completely free of problems, but it was very good to me. Sometimes, good enough is perfect. Because as you'll see in a moment, life can get worse very quickly. The person who has caused me so much pain is my husband, Alex. We've been married for 2 years. Before all of this happened, I was very happy with him, and we rarely had any problems. He was a good boyfriend, and an even better husband. Which made me confident that we would stay together until one of us passed away. But it turns out I was the only one who believed we were meant to be together. My husband clearly thinks he has the right to have other relationships. I don't mean that literally. What I mean is that he obviously kept what he was doing a secret, and I only found out by accident. Believe me, I love my husband a lot, and I've never given him any reason to cheat on me. I thought we were both very happy in our marriage, and since we both earn good money, we didn't have financial problems either. So the question that keeps running through my mind now is this. Is he doing this because he wants some excitement in his life? Or is he truly bored of me? I don't know. It's something only he can answer. Before I explain further, I need to tell you about someone important to this story. Cassie. Cassie is someone you might call my childhood friend. I've known her since I was a kid, and sometimes we still hang out together occasionally. But this isn't really by choice, because honestly, I don't like her very much. She's one of the most jealous and petty people I've ever met. The surprising part is that she's always been like this. From the moment I understood what good friends and bad friends were, I realized she was someone I probably shouldn't keep close. Because of that, I've always kept some distance from her, while she has always tried to get closer to me. The problem with her is that she has always been jealous of a lot of people, and she openly showed that envy. Even toward me, she always wanted what I had and couldn't stand seeing me get something better than she did. She was bad at hiding her emotions, and would get angry whenever I asked her to stop acting that way. Now I know the most obvious question here. If I had so many problems with her from the beginning, why is she still my friend? Well, the answer is very simple. At some point I realized she was a toxic friend who would only make my life worse, but I could never completely cut her off. That's because our parents have been friends for a very long time. Because of that, she's practically like a family member, or at least a family friend, to my parents, so I couldn't just stop seeing her. She was always around at family gatherings and similar events. I also couldn't tell my parents that I hated her. Sometimes I even felt a little guilty, because she acted as if she genuinely cared about me. But even though I couldn't completely remove her from my life, it wasn't like we had a real friendship. I've never been the type of person to have many friends, and since she's so connected to my family, she simply remained part of my life. Right now, I only have about 3 friends that I truly consider real friends. One of them is my best friend Molly, who I'll talk about in a moment. As I mentioned earlier, Cassie is pretty much the same person even now, and I try to avoid her as much as I can. But since she's practically part of my family, I can't really avoid her entirely. We have a tolerable relationship, but I'm sure she has always been a little jealous of me, especially since I ended up doing bigger and better things in life than she did. To be completely honest, yes, I have a better job, and I got married after finding what I believed was a great man. Meanwhile, she works a small job, and is constantly moving in and out of relationships. That isn't surprising if you knew her. I knew she didn't like seeing me succeed in life, but I had no idea she was so jealous that she would try to destroy my marriage, or even try to take my place. By now you've probably already figured out what happened, but if you haven't, I discovered that my husband has been cheating on me with Cassie. She's literally the worst possible person he could have done this with. He's completely destroying our marriage, and I don't know what either of them hopes to gain from this affair. Anyway, let me explain how I found out. Over the past few months, I started noticing that Alex had become a little distant with me. When I asked him about it, he told me nothing was wrong, and said he was just stressed because of work. He had been working a lot, and occasionally doing overtime. At first I was a little worried, but aside from his somewhat distant behavior, nothing else seemed unusual, so I didn't think too much about it. Then, about a week ago, a friend of mine told me that instead of being at work, my husband was sitting in a restaurant, almost an hour away from my workplace. My friend called me because she thought I was with him and wanted to meet up with us. She had no idea what she had just uncovered for me. I immediately called my husband, and he told me he was at work. That's when I knew something strange was going on. So I left work and drove to the restaurant, and there I saw him enjoying a date with Cassie. I saw them. I knew it was a date and not something innocent. They looked far too comfortable together. I couldn't hear what they were talking about, but I took a picture. I thought about confronting them, but I was so shocked that I couldn't do it. Instead, I went back home feeling completely numb. A little later, my husband called me and said he was going to be working late and would be home late. I even called one of his coworkers, who told me he hadn't gone to work that day and had reported being sick. I knew I wasn't a suspicious wife, so I had never checked where he was going or what he was doing. He used that trust to cheat on me with the friend I despise the most. The most unbelievable part of all of this is that he knew how much I disliked her. Before this happened, he always told me I was judging her too harshly. I used to think that was one of his good qualities. I saw it as him being a kind person, but I guess he always had a soft spot for her. Even after seeing them on that date, I refused to believe what I had witnessed. I tried to come up with as many excuses as I could in my mind. I didn't want to face the truth or admit that my marriage was over. Deep down I knew it, but I wasn't ready yet to admit to myself what was really happening. I spent the next few days watching him closely, hoping to find something that could explain everything. But the only thing I discovered was that they were definitely having an affair. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't confront him. And I couldn't even look at Cassie. I didn't want to think about her at all. All I could think about was how the two of them could do this to me. And how he could so easily throw away everything we had built together. It's not like I had just met Alex yesterday. We've been married for a while. How could he do this to me? Eventually, I thought I might have found a way to get some answers. I was so confused. That I ended up calling my best friend Molly and told her everything I had seen. Molly came to see me and decided to help me, no matter what I chose to do. She gave me several ideas, and they were all pretty good. But more than anything, I wanted to confront my husband and just put an end to all of it. Molly followed him for 2 days, and yesterday she told me she saw them entering a hotel. That confirmed it was an affair. Cassie was so jealous of me that she even went as far as taking my husband. But I don't blame her entirely, because if Alex hadn't wanted to cheat on me, she wouldn't have been able to make it happen. If he were truly loyal, he would have remained faithful to me no matter what. While I was still trying to figure out what to do, Molly gave me another idea. She suggested that since we didn't know enough about the affair, we should start gathering information and evidence. Molly recommended installing hidden cameras and audio recorders. That way we could find out what they really wanted and figure out how I should move forward. It was a great suggestion because we both thought that Cassie or Alex might be after something more than just an affair. So I agreed to her plan, even though it meant I would have to tolerate Alex and Cassie a little longer. At this point, I want revenge for what they've done to me. Today we installed the hidden cameras and audio recorders, and hopefully by the end of next week we'll have plenty of information. Even though I agreed to do this, I still can't accept the fact that my husband is cheating on me with someone like Cassie. I still don't understand why he did it. I don't know if I'm making the right decision by going down this path. Am I making the right choice? Or should I just confront them and expose them once I have enough evidence? Please, I'm begging you, I need your help. Update 1. It's been more than a week since my last update, and I was wrong to doubt whether I was doing the right thing. You see, Molly was right, and I'm so grateful that I decided to gather evidence first. I thought that after what Alex had done, things couldn't get any worse. But after what I heard a few hours ago, he somehow managed to make it even worse. I can't believe I married someone like him. As I mentioned last time, I set up the cameras and audio recorders, but I only reviewed the material today. All week I did my best to act normal. Molly has been a huge help, especially during the moments when I was so broken that pretending to be okay felt impossible. Alex acted like he didn't care about what he was doing. But unlike him, my love for him couldn't disappear overnight. It was incredibly hard to watch him leave for work knowing he was going to see her and sleep with her constantly. I can't even describe how difficult it was not to slap him for betraying me like this. 2 days ago was especially hard, because I had to see both of them in the same room. My parents were celebrating their anniversary and of course they invited Cassie and her parents. As soon as we arrived, Cassie jumped up and hugged both of us. I couldn't help but notice the way she and Alex looked at each other. I cursed myself for not realizing what was happening for months. When I spoke to Cassie, it took every ounce of strength not to grab her and scream at her for ruining my life by sleeping with my husband. But I held myself back and somehow managed to get through the evening. Cassie didn't show even the slightest hint of remorse. She didn't even pretend to feel guilty. When she talked to me about Alex, it was as if she felt absolutely no guilt for what she had done. She even openly joked about how handsome she thought he was. Everyone else took it as a harmless compliment, but I knew the truth. Omaha, I managed to survive the party, but it was the worst night of my life. Every second felt like an eternity, and I couldn't wait to leave. After that, I started counting down the days until I could finally listen to what had been happening inside my own home. When the moment finally came, I almost regretted it. I even told myself that maybe I should have just kicked Alex out immediately, because what I discovered only made everything worse. I couldn't bring myself to listen to it alone. So I invited Molly over for support. We listened to different parts of the recordings, and what we discovered left me completely speechless. The affair had been going on for nearly a year, and it was serious. Yes, my husband is seriously involved with my jealous friend Cassie, and he's even planning to leave me for her. Although Cassie claims she wants the same thing, Molly suspects that Cassie might only be using him to ruin my life. That possibility is unbelievable, but then we discovered something even more shocking. Not only is Alex cheating on me and planning to run away with Cassie, but he also wants to take something from me first. The house. The reason he hasn't broken up with me yet is because he wants to take the house we live in. The house was actually a gift from my grandmother before she passed away more than a year ago. After we got married, I moved in. It's a large house that would sell for a very good price. His plan is to trick me into giving him the house, sell it, and then start a new life with Cassie. When I heard this, I could hardly believe it. Not only was he leaving me heartbroken, but he was also planning to deceive me into handing over something precious, something that belonged to my family, just to fund his new life with her. That was the moment I truly understood that the man I had fallen in love with was gone. The Alex I married must have disappeared a long time ago. I had tears in my eyes when I found out, and Molly helped calm me down. But eventually, my sadness turned into rage. Did they really think they could play me for a fool? I've decided that I'm not going to confront Alex, at least not yet. Instead, I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine. Now I have no doubts about what I need to do. I have to get revenge on both of them for what they've done to me. They're going to regret ever messing with me. Update 2. Yes, it's me again, and it's been a while since my last update. A lot has happened since then. Alex has fallen straight into the trap, and right now I'm simply waiting for him to make his next move. I think it's going to happen in just a few days. When it does, he'll realize that cheating on me was the biggest mistake of his life. And don't worry, Cassie isn't getting away with it either. She's going to get what she deserves to. Alex waited about a month before bringing up the house. When he finally did, I acted as surprised as I possibly could. I made sure not to give him even the smallest hint that I already knew what he was planning. I made him believe that my reaction was completely genuine. Honestly, I was willing to wait as long as necessary, because at that point all I wanted was for him to feel the same pain he had caused me. So when he finally asked the question I had been expecting, I still managed to fake genuine surprise. I asked him why he wanted me to sign the house over to him. After all, by owning it together, he already had a share of it. Didn't he want to see? He reassured me that there was no doubt about that, but said he really wanted to be the sole owner of the house. He told me that he had always planned to buy a house after we got married and live in it. While he appreciated that my grandmother had given us this one, he said that a few weeks ago he realized that, technically it wasn't truly his. He wanted the house to be in his name, even if only for a few months, so he could fulfill his dream of owning the place where he lived. He gave me his best argument, saying that all he really wanted was to be able to say, "I'm the owner of the house I live in." Honestly, if I hadn't already known what he was planning, I probably would have agreed right away, but to maintain my act I told him I would think about it. He knows I never make impulsive decisions, so he happily agreed to wait. After a day, I told him I was only making him wait for fun, and told him that I really didn't care since we were going to be together forever. I told him I trusted him completely. It was the first time I saw even a hint of guilt on his face, but he quickly recovered and assured me that he would never leave me. I had already prepared some fake papers that looked real enough for him to believe they were legitimate. I was terrified when he started reading them, but in the end, he said he trusted me and signed them without hesitation, convinced that he was now the owner of the house. That happened yesterday, and guess what I did today? I'm almost certain that in a few days Alex will either try to kick me out or finally tell me the truth. So I wanted to make sure everything was ready. And by everything, I mean making sure that everyone else knew what was really going on. This morning, I asked my parents, my in-laws and Cassie's parents, to meet with me privately. I didn't tell anyone else, but I shared the entire truth with them and showed them the evidence of what had been happening inside my own home. They were all shocked, just like I had been. At first they struggled to believe it, but once the reality sank in, they were furious. They wanted to confront Alex and Cassie immediately, but I asked them to wait. I want Alex and Cassie to believe Hey have won. I want them to take this situation all the way to the end so that I can make them suffer as much as possible. I begged everyone to hold back until Alex made his move, which I believe will happen soon. Hopefully in just a few days he'll either kick me out or finally confess. If everything goes according to plan, it will be sweet revenge. Update 3. I know it's been a few months, and I apologize for the delay. I'll get straight to what happened with Alex and Cassie. 2 days after my last update, Cassie showed up at my house with a bunch of her belongings. I asked her, Cassie, what's going on? She calmly replied that she was moving in. I acted confused, and she just laughed, telling me that the house was no longer mine and that she would now be the permanent resident. I told her to stop acting like that, and she actually had the nerve to tell me to call Alex. Before I could do that, Alex came home after running some errands and looked a bit surprised to see Cassie there. I think this wasn't originally part of their plan, at least not yet. But since the secret was already out, Alex told me that he was kicking me out, and that Cassie was moving in. He even put on a sad act, explaining that he was leaving me for her. I laughed right in his face. I told him to stop pretending, because I had known what was going on all along. He had been foolish to believe me, just as I had once been foolish enough to believe in him. Then I called everyone. Within minutes, my parents, my in-laws and Cassie's parents, arrived at the house. Alex and Cassie were shocked to see them there, and even more shocked to learn that everyone already knew about their little plan. My father-in-law immediately slapped Alex across the face and told him he was not the son he had raised. Cassie's mother did the same, asking her how she could betray someone who had been like a sister. To her, Cassie became defensive and said that she and Alex were going to live together and that there was nothing anyone could do about it. That's when I revealed the truth. I laughed and told her that the house was still mine. I had never actually given it to Alex. The color drained from her face. Alex instantly realized that I had tricked him. He started begging for forgiveness, but I slapped him and threw him out. Cassie left on her own after realizing she might face the same fate. It felt incredibly satisfying to give them a taste of their own medicine, lies and betrayal. I know some people might not approve of the way I handled my revenge. Some might say I should have simply confronted them from the beginning. But now I not only have my revenge, I also have proof of their infidelity, which ensures that Alex will receive nothing in the divorce, and neither will Cassie. Update 4. I don't know exactly how many months have passed since my update about the revenge on my ex-husband and ex-friend, but it's been long enough for everything to be over. After that day, everything began to fall apart for both of them. It was like a series of unfortunate events. Alex was kicked out of his parents' house, where he had been staying for a few weeks, and his parents disinherited him. At first they had accepted him because he was their son, but after seeing that he was still with Cassie despite everything he had caused, they finally took extreme measures. As for me, I divorced him, and he received nothing. It's great to live in a state where cheaters pay, or rather, where their spouses don't have to pay them. When he realized he wouldn't get anything from the divorce, he came back several times begging me for help. He claimed that he had left Cassie, but I told him I didn't care anymore, and warned him that I would call the police if he showed up again. As for Cass, she lost her job. It turns out she worked for her uncle, and when he found out what she had done, he fired her. Her parents also disowned her. When she kept begging them for help, they told her they would only forgive her if I did. She never came to apologize to me, but she didn't need to. Knowing that her life is miserable now is enough for me. Rewrite the script given below, but strictly follow these rules. The story must remain exactly the same. Do not add any new scenes, dialogue, thoughts, or details. Do not invent, improvise, or assume anything. The overall length must stay nearly the same, not significantly shorter or longer. Only improve wording, sentence structure, clarity and flow. Tone, emotions, and intent must remain unchanged. The meaning and message must not change at any point. Output only the rewritten script. No explanations, no headings, no extra commentary. I can't betray someone who is loyal to me for someone who is loyal to me for someone who enjoys stabbing others in the back. Cassie, of course, didn't know how to handle that blow. She immediately became defensive and in an attempt to sound intimidating told Molly to watch out, because other girls' boyfriends tend to like her. What Cassie didn't realize was that Molly isn't someone who gets intimidated by high school level threats. Without hesitation, Molly responded with the strength that defines her. You won't be around to try because you're not part of my life. And if you do try, I guarantee my fist will be pretty close to your face. According to Molly, Cassie walked away looking a little shaken. Honestly, I couldn't be prouder to have someone like Molly by my side. She not only stood up for me, but also gave Cassie a dose of reality that she won't forget anytime soon. If Cassie thought she could come back into my life and take something else from me, she was very wrong. Molly is with me. And unlike Cassie, she understands what it means to be a true friend.